Hi, this is Harnett with a one-take Work.Love.Play Daily video blog. And I have to say for FCC Regs that this post is in relationship to a column I wrote a couple of weeks ago for HR Executive, where I interviewed Harry Kraemer, and we discussed a lot of things, but we particularly focused on executive compensation. But what drove me to want to interview Harry is that I was really taken with him last year when I got to meet him in person after my friend Trisha Crisafulli had interviewed him for her book Comebacks. But I turned out that I actually had read about Harry way back in the 90s and had kept the article where I'd read about him because I just admired him so much. And by the way, to close out the FCC Reg piece, HR Executive is a client. They hire and pay me to write that column, and that's why I have to always say for FCC Regs. Sorry, one take, remember. So why did I want to do this post today? Because it's been a while, and it's because my life's been a little out of balance, and I'm trying to bring it back to balance, and this is one way to do it. But I noticed that recently, and it's related to my column that I wrote with and kind of about Harry Kraemer, is sort of about this issue of ethics. So let me backtrack for a second. Harry Kraemer has lived his life, I was going to say pretty much, but actually has lived his life, period, around this concept of values to action, which is the title of Harry's own book, which was released a month or so ago. And I believe it's of the same name, From Values to Action. And Harry has essentially lived his life around 4 parameters when he makes decisions, particularly around leadership. The first is what he calls self-reflection, that you really need to understand yourself and who you are and what's important to you and what's your ethical compass and your moral compass and what do you believe and what do you think is important, what are you trying to accomplish. And then the second thing he believes that you need to do is to gain balance by really reflecting off others, particularly those you trust, but really everyone around you who would know a lot about that topic, and reflect with them their opinion on the topic, their direction that they would take. And then the third thing that he does is he says you have to have true self-confidence. And what he means by that is taking what you know about yourself from self-reflection, highly considering the balance and perspective that you received from other people's opinion, and then confidently coming to a decision that you have to make for you. Even if that decision and the thing that you have to do is really different and somewhat maybe even dangerous from a career perspective for your career. And by dangerous, I mean you could get fired. And a number of us have been in that position, have made very specific choices, and have either left a company or have been let go from a company because you honestly expressed what you believe was the ethical and moral thing to do. And then the fourth thing he tells you is that you have to have genuine humility. You just have to remember who you are and what your roots were and how you came up and how you came up through your life, how you came up through your organization, and never ever forget those people who were with you from the beginning and traveled along the way. As I read Harry's book and had a chance to talk with him both about life and more than both, and then about HR and then about executive compensation, he really is about doing the right thing. And what he thinks with executive compensation is that people should be paid by salary, bonus, and stock options, and their performance should be tied to how the company does. And there shouldn't be all these perks. And if there are any kind of perks, and perks can, particularly for executives, can include things like airplanes, kind of high-end things, to financial advice, kind of things you wouldn't even think about, to special life insurance and all that. He doesn't think any of that should exist. But if it does, that it should be very transparent. And we wound up in this conversation about how even the sports figures are compensated, and how his very young son, when he was at a baseball game with him, asked him what he thought of a particular player. Harry asked his son what he thought of a particular player, and his son said, well, Dad, he's making $25 million, so he must be really good, and had not done anything to equate what was not at that point a stellar season with his value. And I recently keep getting email notes asking my opinion really underneath it about what's the ethical decision to make. So this is kind of a long and twisted post, but what I guess I want to get back to is what Harry says. Do the right thing. Come back to what you know in your heart is true and honest and ethical and moral from self-reflection. Gain balance by hearing other people's perspectives and really hearing them. Take on true self-confidence about what you know is really the right thing to do, taking all the information in. and then really be genuinely humble. Just never forget your roots. So this is Carol Harnett with a one-take Work, Love, Play Daily video blog on this day of all days for me, saying I really do hope that you experience some great work today, some wonderful love, and don't forget to play. Thanks.